What's going on? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Gen X Army Vet here with a series of videos from TikTok. You can see in the thumbnail and you read in the title that apparently slavery has made a comeback because the government is making women and pregnant women work to provide for themselves. So without further ado, let's get into the video.
So they're forcing women that are in the childbearing age to conceive children, and they're forcing brown and black men to work like slaves. That is exactly what the Trump administration has been doing with the whole cutting SNAP and Medicaid and stuff like that, and making new requirements for SNAP. Because I just got the text message, because I get SNAP, obviously. And that is what this war is about. They've been trying to make us think that they're really targeting the immigrants, which that's horrible too. And I was definitely against that too. But no, it's undercover. Black men, brown men need to work endlessly.
What type of shit is she talking about? They cutting your food stamps and whatever bullshit because they want to bring back slavery. That's not bringing back slavery. That's your ass is able to be out in your vehicle, driving around, be on Snapchat, be on TikTok, be on your phone recording. So you're able bodied. So therefore you can go get a fucking job. Quit asking for a handout. Quit being lazy as fuck. That's what that is. As far as slavery, people have been working since forever. Slavery's been abolished. However, you still need to work to provide yourself with the essentials for daily life, like money, housing, shelter, food, transportation, which is a luxury. Same thing, your phone, be able to pay your bills, so you won't be freeloading. But according to her, it's slavery.
Like slaves, because we know they don't get paid enough. They don't get picked for the jobs when they do get the degree. And women, because a lot of the requirements have to do with
Hold on. She said they don't get picked.
Like slaves, because we know they don't get paid enough. They don't get picked for the jobs when they do get the degree.
It's because you guys go into the dumbest freaking professions though. Like, you go to college for 4 years and you come out to be like a nursing assistant. Okay, anybody could do that job. It's a basic nursing. If they have a over abundant of nurses, you're most likely not going to get that job. Because men normally go into STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math. Women go into lower tier jobs typically. Like teaching, childcare, nursing, the lower tier jobs. I'm not saying that all women do. There are some women who do higher paying jobs, like, being a doctor, or some going to engineering, some, a very small sum. Because you take by and large, the entire US, you put, look in like how many women are in engineering and STEM, anything along with STEM, there's going to be a small number. You're going to see an overwhelming number of men in those type of career fields. As far as like you go to teaching, child caring, stuff like that, you're going to see an overwhelming number of women in that career field. You'll see some men in there, but majority, by and large, is going to be women. And then, yeah, it doesn't get paid enough because a lot of people don't try to continue their education to get the necessary things you need to beef up your resume to be able to demand more. Especially like men, we're more argumentative when it comes to our how much we make. I want more, this, that, and the other. And if they don't, we're like, fuck it, I could walk and go get somewhere else, another job. Woman, they're more agreeable, so they just take what they can get. They won't try to, negotiate as much as a man will. Because a man knows he's valued anywhere, so he can go anywhere and get a job, especially if it's more labor intensive. He's more likely to jump on that job where he start out low, but within a year or two, he'll be making 2 times more than what that teacher make. Women don't want to do the physical demanding jobs.
And women, because a lot of the requirements have to do with, okay, if you're pregnant, no, you don't have to do it, or you can get it, or whatever. I don't know, but I do know.
The fuck? I don't know, but what type of shit is that? I'm gonna go back to what?
Do it, or you can get it, or whatever. I don't know, but I do know. So they're
Yeah, she just confused herself in her own claim to slavery being on the rise. No, it's called quit being lazy, get a job. If you want to be able to get the SNAP, your food stamp, whatever assistance you have, 20 hours a week. That's the bare minimum, the POTUS put out. That is not hard at all. That's 5 hours a day, 30 of which is probably going to be on a break, if not more, depending on where your career field. It's a part-time job. You could knock that out in 2 days if you decide to work 10-hour days, 10-hour days, have the rest, 5 days, the rest of the week off. That sounds like a pretty good goddamn deal to me, but they're not going to do stuff like that. It's a laziness thing. Oh, shut in my glasses. Keep forgetting. Birth control is available, and having a job is a standard practice in adulthood. Exactly. Once you become 18, some like me, I got my first job at 16. It just shows that you're progressing as an adult, into a responsible adult. Get a job, and this is pretty much how you're gonna be able to sustain and afford your life from that day forward. People just don't want to do that. They have this perpetual cycle of gimme, gimme, gimme from their parents and their parents before them. And these parents, these modern day parents like her, just projecting onto their children. So their children are going to know nothing but, let's just perpetuate the cycle. It's just be, ask government for everything, not do everything for myself. Birth control is available, and having a job is a standard practice in adulthood. So people should sacrifice the pursuit of happiness in life because they need slaves to run their man-made business. Okay. That is not the case. They're not sacrificing life. If you want to do better, if you don't want to have to put so much time towards work and be able to spend more time at home, create a job for yourself. Build your money. Sacrifice a couple years, build money, invest it in something else, create a business for yourself where you can stay home and do more things. It's not hard. Just people just choose not to, want to think outside the box. Victim card, lifetime member, get out of responsibility free. I'm gonna have to download this. I like that picture. Make a badge and put it on somebody's car or something like that. Getting a damn job isn't slavery. It's called being responsible. Exactly. I like to see these comments. You mean he wants you to earn and share heaven, forbid you earn what you have. Bro, I don't even know how to start. Wow. It's slavery? What was it like growing up with a father who also your brother? Some of these people, man, that's crazy. Is education system really bad? Yes, actually is. Okay, I can agree on the education system isn't all the same. It's not gonna be, there's no equity in the education system depending on which part of the country you live in. They get paid to work like the rest of us. That's not slavery. Exactly. White, black, brown, other. Everybody gets paid. It's against the law for work at McDonald's and this person get paid more than the other person if you both starting out in the same type of job. Obviously, with more experience, you get paid more, you get raises. People always want to argue, there's a wage gap. No, it's not. It's not a wage gap. And I can argue with that in the comments if you want to come at me. This is why I have black fatigue. Everyone should work. Well, you should work to a certain point. Those of us who joined the military, I joined the day after I turned 19. Did it for 20 years, retired at the age of 39. I could choose to work. I could choose not to work for the rest of my life. Some people do that. They want to complain. Then they want to sit back and say, it must be nice, being able to be at home all day, be on YouTube, play, my PC games, or go out and do whatever I want. Okay? The recruiting station is open 24 hours a day. You can call a phone number. You could walk into a recruiting station. It's open to everybody. It's just those that, I would have, I almost served, or I almost did this. I always hear all the excuses. What you mean they're forcing you to be responsible for taking care of yourself? The nerve of them. Accountability, accountability, accountability. Word of the day. I voted for this cupcake. You want a cookie pookie? See? It's like when you start calling them out with facts, then they start with the ad hominem attacks. It's like, that rhymed actually. But yeah, that's what they always do.
So they're forcing women that are in the childbearing age.
Get a fucking job.
Amen, brother.
Get a fucking job. And if the Democrats weren't so
it's just that simple
into getting black babies aborted, then a lot of this shit wouldn't be happening. You see, they're making y'all think like y'all fucking victims, and you're not. Get a fucking job, get a trade, and stop acting like a goddamn victim. And do research and vote Republican.
But Sarge, getting a job is hard. Typical. Anyway, our government let this go on for way too long. How much you want to bet even some household brought their daughters up, have children early, and never have to work because the government takes care of them? That's not how it works. That is not how it works. Some people, are traditional household families. You graduate school, you graduate high school, you go to college, they marry early. They try to get the relationship, a foundation started early so they can build together. And if you're in a situation where the woman can stay home, raise the kid while the man goes out there, slaves the dragon, makes the money, brings home the bacon, all the better for it. And once the kid gets to the age of 5, because like we were back in the day, 5, 6, where we can sustain ourselves, be able to do basic stuff. Then the woman goes back into the career field. She gets her job. She's still young enough to be able to provide for the family, work a 20 to 30, and still retire, and still have time left to be able to go out and enjoy, time with her husband. A lot of people don't want to do that. They want to have children all late or get pregnant super early, 12, 13, 14. Some do. And then they just screw themselves. They're on the government assistance for the rest of their fucking lives. But people don't understand, when people try to tell them this, don't do this, don't do that. You can tell me how to live my life. You can't blah, 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 blah. And then when it comes full circle, then they realize that all their friends are having careers and their children are to a point where they can be able to sustain themselves while these people are going out and traveling the world. And they're sitting back, in the ghetto, in the hood, in their apartment, and they can't go anywhere. They got like 12 kids, 7 baby daddies, and then they want to say everybody else is, what the fuck? You see it every day. I see it all the time on TikTok where people make these crime videos and complain about the government, complain about this, complain about that. Well, you did it to yourself. But I don't know. That's my thoughts. That's my opinion on it. Let me know your thoughts and comment down below. Is she right? Is she wrong? Let's get the conversation started. I like to read what everybody has to say. Like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell, hook a brother with a thumbs up. I'll catch you next video. Peace.